Professor Black Ops, Cybersecurity for the people. You see it, let's get it. Attackers can hide the external email warning with the HTML and CSS format. So, in a lot of corporations and even in a lot of regular web email sites, when you send out email out of your corporation and you get a email from outside your company, it comes back and has a banner that says it's an external email, meaning you need to be more careful. If there's an attachment, you might want to call the person to make sure they actually send it for you. So if you don't see that banner, you probably just click on it thinking, oh, that's somebody from internal, or obviously I know that person because that didn't come from the outside. So the external sender warning show to email recipients by clients like Microsoft Outlook can be hidden by the sender as demonstrated by a researcher. It turns out it takes for an attacker to alter the external sender warning or remove it altogether from email is just a few lines of HTML and CSS code. This is problematic as the phishing actor and scammer can simply include some HTML and CSS code in their outgoing mail and tamper with the warning of the warning message or make it disappear altogether. Email security products such as Enterprise Email Gateway often configured to display the external sender warning to a recipient when an email arrives from outside the organization. IT administrators enforce display such warnings to safeguard users against phishing and scam emails arriving from untrusted sources. However, this week a research has shown a rather simple way the email sender can use to circumvent this protection applied by the email security product. By appending such a few lines of HTML and CSS code, Richard Lewis, how an external sender could hide the very warning from an individual email. So let's see if I can make it bigger, which I can't. So if you look at the bottom, you can see the actual external email. I might put a B-roll and see if I can actually just make it show bigger in that section, but just add the external warning. This happens because the email security product and gateway they're intercepting and scanning incoming emails for suspicious content or simply injecting external sender warning as an HTML CSS code snippet in the email body itself, as opposed to the UI of the native email client displaying this message. As such, an attacker can craft the email that contains CSS instructions to override the warning snippet, the CSS code, and can make the warning just disappear altogether. Another researcher also alluded to being aware of the behavior from the past implied attacker could also exploit this flaw to alter warning messages. You can even fake an HTML CSS to, instead of hiding it, indicate the contents was scanned and deemed safe, said John Mess in the same thread. I shared some insight into the bleeping computer on this behavior. The researcher said this is not a bug in any email client per se. It's client agnostic. It's really a client bug. It's client agnostic, noting to do it with Outlook. Really, I just happened to take a screenshot of Outlook, but this will work in Gmail, Thunderbird, or any other email. It's a limitation in HTML email. If the warning is added to HTML body, the attacker obviously controls the HTML body when they can add the CSS rule to hide those elements. It's impossible to fix other than moving non-HTML based warning labels, he told the bleeping computer in the email interview. Microsoft Exchange native emails tags has a potential solution. Last month, Microsoft Exchange announced an addition of an upcoming external email tagging feature. If the IT administrator enable this feature on their organization Exchange server, emails received from external sources when parsed by native emails like Outlook would carry the external display tag with the native email client UI as opposed to the email body. An example of the screen by Microsoft shows the external email in the Microsoft Outlook and Outlook mobile client showing the external tag in native email client. So they're going to go to the native email client and not use the HTML client. Once the external email tag feature rolls out to different OS 365 environment, however, it would be disabled by default. That's a mistake. They should have enabled the native client by default. As such administrator interested in emailing, this will feature will need to go to use the get external email Outlook and set external email Outlook in PowerShell commandlets to view and modify the external sender's identification, configuration, and support for the Outlook version. If you enable the commandlet within 24 to 48 hours, the user will start sending warning tag and email message received from external sources outside of your government. In Outlook mobile, by typing the external tag at the top of the message, the user will see the email address of the sender. Regardless of whether the email contents contains the external sender warning or contrary touts itself by safe, users should be careful prior to opening any link or attachment inside the emails they receive. Once again, cybersecurity for the people. Red team on attack again. Please subscribe.